The prop firm industry has been exploding over the past 2 years. We've seen a lot of firms pop up and stay there, and we've also seen a lot of firms pop up only to come down even harder, leaving tons of traders in shambles, right? We've seen a lot of guys get great payouts, but we also know most traders are not profitable in firms, right? Now, we've been running Chronos for a couple months now, and I'm about to pull the curtain on the industry, expose how everything works, just so you guys get some more transparency, and just so I as a trader can tell you how these firms actually work, right? I'm not talking to you as a seller, I'm not talking to you as a prop firm CEO telling you why we're better. I'm talking to you as a fellow trader who's seen the complete back end of this industry and here to tell you how it actually works, right? No fluff, no nothing, let's get to the core. So again, for those of you that might be new, what are prop firms? Essentially, prop firms are companies that give traders a chance to prove themselves, right? They give you an evaluation with certain criteria. This includes a profit target, a drawdown, there's intraday, there's unrealized, there's end of day, there's static, there's some different types of drawdowns, and certain rules, right? Like your biggest day cannot be more than 30, 40, 25% of your profits, and the minimum trading days you can have. After you pass this evaluation, you go into what is a funded account, right? Again, it's usually a sim funded account. Well, it's always a sim funded account. And this is a simulated account where if you make money, you get to keep it. But there's, again, certain restrictions and rules. Now, the funded accounts, again, they also have their own rules, like minimum trading days, the type of consistency, how much you can make in a trade, right? There's all these rules. And again, most prop firms, if not all, have a payout cap, which means in your first, either it's 1, 2, or up to 10 payouts, there's a maximum you can withdraw. And there's also a buffer, right? The buffer is like the safety net, you can withdraw of the safety net. Now, depends on the firms. Some firms will move you like very quick, right? Firms like Chronos Funding, we will move you live in 4 payouts or less. And other firms just never move you live, right? The benefits of going live are daily payouts at a 90-10 profit split at your own convenience, instead of just having to recycle in the amount of trading days and consistency, right? Once you beat that part and you prove you're a profitable trader, you get moved live. So that's kind of how prop firms work. Usually with prop firms, there's an evaluation fee, which is to take the test, and there's an activation fee. Now, lastly, customer support rate. If we see that a firm has bad customer support, it takes days to reply, and it's not really clear, guess what? They care a lot more about their bottom line, and they're cutting expenses and not hiring proper customer support at the expense of you having a bad experience, of you having a payout denial, of you having issues with your accounts, right? So focus on a firm that has live agents. Again, there's a lot of good firms out there, but Chronos, not to brag, however, our average ticket response time during market hours is 5 minutes, after market hours in under an hour. And it is not a weird AI bot that sounds like a person, it is a live agent who's fully trained and can help you instantly. So that's something to keep in mind, right? Now, something really important to notice is the large prop firm failures, right? In order to see what firms are good, what firms are bad. Again, if a firm is offering you like 1 day pass, 1 day funded, unlimited payouts, odds are it's not sustainable, right? Think to yourself, right? As a trader, think as the business. Hey, if I ran this business, would this be sustainable if only 20% of the traders were profitable? Yes or no? And then you can start seeing kind of what firms make sense, what not. And again, we go back, look at the social proof, look at the payouts, look at the owners, right? Do they have live verified owners, or are the firm's owners some mysterious name on Twitter, right? Look for verified ownership, because that's super important in the trading space, because when people have their reputation on the line, it matters a lot more. Also, look for regulation and where they're based out of. It's as simple as going to the firm's website and seeing where they're based out of. If you see that firm is based out of Cyprus, Madagascar, what does that tell you about their regulatory status and to what extent the law applies to them? However, if you see firms like Chronos that are based in the US, right, our firm is based out of Delaware, then that tells you that we're actually compliant with US law. That tells you that if we do something to you, we can go to court in the US, and it's not gonna be pretty for us. That's something super important to look out for. But let's talk about the good stuff, right? Enough fluff, enough talking about the rules, right? The back end of the firms. Let's talk about the first side. What successful traders do, right? Now that we've paid out over 6 figures to traders, and I've seen pretty much everything from the best traders to traders who got lucky gambling to the worst traders, here's what the top traders are doing at our firm. Number 1 is they are not full porting the open, right? Something I've seen amongst our top traders is none of them trade the first 10 minutes of the market open, and none of them, right, use more than 20% of the contracts. Meaning, right, again, if we have 6 contracts available, they're using 1 or 2 on a 50K, right? Rarely will they use 2. On a 150K, they're trading with 2 or 3 contracts max, right? So keeping their size low has been really important. Another thing is they've been really consistent with their trading times, right? Again, our top traders, a guy who got paid 30K in 2 weeks, something that I noticed about him is he was only trading within the same 40-minute period. But then you have guys trading London, New York PM session, right? And those are the ones blowing accounts. Then something that I also noticed is the top guys are not taking a million trades a day. They're focusing on, again, maybe even 1-2 trades a day, or maybe even not even trading some days. That's also something to notice. Now, something that we need to talk about is the rules. Why, right? Like, why do the firms use unrealized drawdown? Why do the firms use this? Let me talk about you for Chronos perspective. Why do we need the consistency rule in the funded account? Super simple, because one guy can full port all the contracts, and then guess what happens? We're rinsed and we have nothing to do, right? We want to make sure that we're paying out traders that are being consistent, paying out traders that are not relying on one lucky trade, right? And then some traders say, oh, but you can just lower the contract size. Okay, but then what happens to the scalpers? What happens to the guys who use very tight stop losses, who require 5, 6, even 7 contracts to be able to risk the proper amount of money, right? It would not be fair to them. Just because some traders, they use, oh, I only use 2 contracts. Cool. There's people that need 5 contracts to risk the same amount of money you do. And we want fair conditions to all types of traders. Therefore, that's why the consistency rule exists. Oh, but why do you have unrealized drawdown until you beat the buffer? Well, here's the reality. If you're managing your position accordingly, if you're taking profits accordingly, if you're trailing your stop accordingly, it's not an issue. Why? Because we see traders, and we've talked with them, the ones who manage their positions diligently, the ones that are not trying to build their buffer in one trade, they don't struggle. Again, after you build the buffer, the drawdown is not unrealized trailing, it stops moving, it stays static at the account balance. So if you can just build a buffer with patience, with low risk, guess what? Odds are you're not even gonna feel the unrealized drawdown. The problem is traders want to pass the buffer in one trade, or they want to get 50% of it done in one trade, and then, oh, they're up high, and then it retraces a bit, and because they're over leveraged on their position, their drawdown really hurts them. So, want to get around to the unrealized buffer? Take it slow, be consistent, and manage your profits during that zone. After you build the buffer, go crazy as long as you stay within consistency, right? It's not that hard. And then the minimum trading days, pretty self-explanatory. We want to make sure you're actually trading for a period of time and not just being like, oh, you know what, I'm going to have 2 or 3 good days, meet consistency, and then flip. Like, no. We want to see that you can have at least 1 profitable week, right? And we're going to pay you. We have no problem with that. So that's why the firms operate with those types of drawdowns and that type of consistency. It's to protect themselves from gamblers and to make sure that the traders that are getting paid are managing the risk accordingly. Again, I'm telling you this from the trader side. Dude, if you're a trader that manages risk, is not full porting, and keeps their losses smaller than the wins, you're going to get paid with Chronos if you're not being an idiot. And that's just how it is, right? The problem is traders are full porting. They're risking too much. They're trying to get everything done in one trade. And that's not how this industry works. And you're not gonna make money either at Chronos or any other firm with that mindset. So then, where's the future of Chronos heading and the future of the overall industry? I think the overall industry, right, we're gonna see a lot of regulatory changes soon. The first thing I think is coming is gonna be live accounts, right? We see many firms that are not offering live accounts, and that's gonna come to an end soon, right? Firms should have a clear path to live. Chronos already does, right? Within 4 payouts, we book you live. It's a real cash account. So that's the first thing that's coming, right? I think that firms that are not able to offer this, they're not gonna be around for much longer. And then also, firms that are constantly changing the rules. Why are they changing the rules so much? They can't figure out something that works, right? We had a firm that launched and 3 weeks later they were changing rules. 2 months later, change rules again. Chronos has been up for 3.5 months and we have not changed a single rule. The only stuff we have added is the Chronolympics account. And in the near future, we might add more accounts. We might not add more accounts. So again, but we're working on a lot of stuff in the back end for you guys that I'm really excited about, but I can't really talk about right now. But again, in terms of the future, the tech is gonna keep getting better. We see that social media holds, honestly, a chokehold on prop firms right now with all these influencers being transparent and with all these guys, complaining about certain firms, vouching for certain firms, right? So we're gonna get a space where the market is gonna tell firms how they need to adapt and not the other way around. Why? Because right now there's a lot of competition in the firm. That's why at Chronos, we focused on building a really good support team that nobody can match, about having the quickest path to live in the industry, because those 2 things are what helps traders have a positive experience. And again, firms that are not listening to the traders, they're gonna be left behind. That's also why in the Discord, I'm very active. One of my co-owners, Cole, he's very active. Our dev is really active on the Discord because we care about your opinion and we're constantly making updates, right? We recently released a dashboard that has a calendar, you can journal in it, and all these features just to make it a better experience for you guys. So that's the reality about how the prop firm industry works, where you can go. Now, if you want to get funded with Chronos with 50% off, just click the link below and use the code SUMMER. Again, you'll be able to get the promotion, pretty good deal. You can get up to 10 funded accounts at the same time and get paid out within 8 trading days, right? 3 days of the eval, 5 days of the funded, and the money's in your bank account. Appreciate you guys watching this video. If you want to learn more about Chronos, click the link below to join our Discord, or make sure to like and subscribe to hear more about our traders, rules, and more information that we're putting out to help you guys out here, right? We don't want to be the firm that just posts about the rules. We want to provide actual value to you.